Very good afternoon, everyone. I hope that all of you are doing well. Also, I hope that you're keeping yourself safe and sound. Those of you who have joined us for our lecture class on Wednesday, thank you. And those of you who are joining us again, thank you so much for putting in your time and effort to be available for this online session. And this is Friday. So on Fridays, we normally have our tutorial class. Now, just few basic reminders before you actually go on to we actually go on to discussing our case studies in the tutorial. The class for Wednesday, it was cancelled, the lecture class. So the notification was posted up on the announcement section due to a power outage in half of Nandi and Lotoka area on Wednesday. Now, what I had done was I did had a look at the notification beforehand. By Tuesday afternoon, I came to know that we will have no power on Wednesday from 8 a.m. till 4:30 or 8:30 till 4:30. So I had created the video and posted it up on Moodle beforehand. So feel free to go and have a look at the video and also go through the lecture notes. Now, for today's class, we'll be looking at our tutorial. Just one more thing, pardon me for that. Before we go over tutorial, your critic writing. I'm still marking your critic writing. It's taking me a bit of time because there's quite a number of students in the class. One, two, you have taken in time and effort to write your answers. So I'm also taking in that amount of time to ensure that I give in the good set of marks that you actually deserve. Okay, so I know some of you had submitted well before time. Okay, however, your critic writing marks should be up by Monday morning. Okay, so by Monday morning, close to about 8 a.m. do have a look at your gradebook. So if you just click on grades, and then you'll see the layout of your marks for your lecture-based quizzes, your marks for the mid-semester exam, and your marks for critic writing. Now, at the same time, there is a research project and presentation left for the semester, and it's due in week 14. I have not posted up the question yet, but I will be putting so by next week Friday. So you'll have your research project and you'll have enough time, close to about 4 to 5 weeks, to actually attempt it and then submit it on time. Okay, now for presentations, there's two things we can do for the presentations. One, we can have the presentation done in class in our Zoom sessions. That's one. The second thing that we could do is you could actually create videos of yourselves doing the presentation and then post it up on Moodle. Now, how would you go about creating videos? Like we have the Zoom sessions, you have a record button, you can share the screen, get the presentations flowing in, and then record your voice at the same time. So those are the two options, of which I will tell you which option that I would take. Now for week 9, some of you had already attempted your tutorial, and the answers are the sample answers. I have just fed the sample answers on Moodle. So those of you who have attempted, you should be able to get it within about 30 to 40 minutes time. It normally takes about 30 minutes max to actually get the answers posted up. Okay, so do wait for it. And those who haven't, please take time and effort to get it done. Now for our tutorial questions. Now we had 3 sets of tutorial questions. One was the tutorial questions itself, question number 1 to 10. And then you had a critique writing. And then after the critique writing, we had a case study. Okay, so for the tutorial questions, there were 10 questions. I'll just quickly read the questions out. Why does a business need to be concerned with the quality of its data? Question number 2, how can data governance help protect our business from hackers? 3, what are the 5 characteristics common to high quality information? 4, what is data governance and its importance to a company? 5, what are the advantages of data-driven website? 6, what is a data warehouse and why would a business want to implement one? 7, why would you need to use multi-dimensional analysis? 8, what is the purpose of information cleansing or scrubbing? And 9, why would a department want a data mart instead of just accessing the entire data warehouse? And 10, why would a business be data rich but information poor? Now, I'll be very honest, I've just pulled out the questions directly from the lecture notes. So if you would go to the lecture notes, okay, and then if you look at the questions, you can answer the questions directly from the lecture notes. Most of it are just general subtopics in your lecture notes. So please do make it an effort to go and answer this. Why? Because majority of this will be tested in your final exam. Okay. By the way, your final exam, at the moment, it's going to be online mode. Nothing has been confirmed by the university whether you will be going on face-to-face mode or not. Now, about the news that came up on media that on the 4th of October, the university is opening up. True, it is. However, not for students at the moment. The Department of Computer Science and Information Systems, together with School of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, in College of Engineering, Science and Technology. Okay, so the entire college has decided at the moment we will let the classes go in a fully online mode. Should the university advise us otherwise, then we will be swapping it back to face mode. But so far, it's online mode only. And so is your final exam. Now, you must have seen the number of cases is eventually dropping. I think day before, yesterday we had 79 cases, yesterday we had 170 cases, something like that. Okay, so let's say if it comes to a situation where the number of cases by week 13 or 14 comes to zero, there's a likely chance it can, then the university might say that we'll go to a face-to-face mode. So therefore, you need to be very, very careful in terms of how you go around approaching your revision work. If you're not revising well, okay, it may be a bit of an issue. I do know that when you have exams in online mode, you have access to the internet, you have access to the notes. That makes the work a bit easy. Okay, we do understand that students do go around using those platforms to go and get the answers, because some of the answers directly match from the internet. Some of the answers that you gave for your mid-semester exam was something that was entirely not in the notes at all. So we do understand. And also, if you would carefully have a good look at how our Moodle system is, we have plagiarism checkers all around. Okay, so based on that, we do come to know that students seek assistance from the web. However, if the university goes on a face-to-face mode, that might be a problem if you're used to getting answers from the web. So please ensure that you are revising very, very well. My uh, my takeaway from here would be is, you had your revision questions for the mid-semester exam. Keep them, answer them, revise them. That's the summary from lecture 1 to lecture 5. You have 5 more lectures coming through, from lecture 6 to lecture 10. So the tutorial questions, please answer them and keep on studying them. Try to read them. Just keep on reading it. Spend about half an hour in terms of reading your lecture notes and the answers. Should be well enough. Now, without further ado, let's go and look at our critique writing questions. Okay, information, business intelligence, or a diversion from the truth. President Barack Obama used part of his commencement address at Virginia's Hampton University to criticize the flood of incomplete data or downright incorrect data that flows in the 24-hour news cycle. So what's happening is we have, I hope you do know who Barack Obama is, the former president of the United States of America. Okay, so he criticized the flood of incorrect data. That means the amount of inaccurate, the amount of non-integrity based data flowing around in the news cycle. When we say news cycle, there's a lot of different types of news cycles. You have something going over social media, you have online publications, you have radio, you have televisions, you have phones, and so forth. So he's saying is that there's a lot of incomplete and misinformed news over those types of media platforms. The president said, you are coming to an age in a 24/7 media environment that bombards us with all kinds of contents and exposes us to all kinds of arguments, some of which don't always rank all that high on the truth meter. Now, he's very true, right? Now, if you would look at it, he says, we live in an information age and a 24 media environment. That means We live in an age whereby news flows 24/7. It does. Look at social media. Look at online based news companies, FijiVillage.com, FBC. They run 24/7. How? Not necessarily people work 24/7, but the news are planned and published 24/7. You have a social media, for example, Facebook, where data keeps on flowing in, news keeps on flowing in 24/7. You have YouTube, okay? Moreover, you have radios that run 24/7, all right? And not always all the information that are displayed on these platforms may be true, okay? Now, another thing that really hits me over here is uh, this portion here. Bombards us with all kinds of content and exposes us with all kinds of arguments. True? Yes, it is. Now, if you would go around looking at some of the forums that we have for Fiji-based Facebook forums, okay, so much argument, right? Okay, people are arguing over petty things. Okay, now does it look good, or does it form a good platform for our younger generations to go peep through those things? And what do we learn from it? They learn the same things that are there. Now, what has happened, another thing that people generally do is since we are talking about social media and media platforms, if you would go around continuously read some research papers. Now, people do research papers on all this as well, okay, verified research papers. Now, what happens generally, people have started using social media as a platform whereby if things do not go according to their plan, they end up misinterviewing, or they end up misinterpreting the ideas and throwing out on platforms. For instance, just recently, not recently, probably about a year or two, I saw a photograph floating on social media, local based photograph. So here's this police officer who is sitting in a police station, okay, and he's asleep. And somebody takes a photograph and says, this is what we are putting our lives on, people sleeping on duty. And people commenting. Now, if you would, I don't know that post is still there on social media or not, there were close to about thousands of comments, and all of them criticizing that individual. And then only later it was found out that that particular police officer had just finished his duty. So while he was waiting for his taxi to come in, he fell asleep. Now, that's misinterpreted, or that's trying of exposing to wrong information. So not always what you see on social media, not always that what you see on a non-verifiable website may be true. There are likely chances that sometimes 90% of it may be false. If you look at YouTube, you'll notice that some people, what they do is they make videos and they earn money through it. Now, those kind of people are called YouTubers, and they call themselves as social media influencers. Okay, so the work of social media influencers is put their life out on social media and they get paid. Okay, so if you reach a certain amount of video, if you reach a certain amount of views on YouTube channels, so you get paid for it. Now, let's say they are not working, and most of them, they're not working. What they're doing is, that is their normal livelihood. So just imagine, for them to just gain that amount of money, they would make video out of almost anything. Yes, most of them do. And most of it is, and majority of those videos are just in a form of joke, or they are just created for the sake of to seek attention. So I totally agree with this statement, okay, that not all of them rank all that high on the truth meter. That means not all of them is true. With iPods and iPads and Xboxes and PlayStations, okay, iPod is like an MP3 player, but owned by Apple Inc. corporations. iPad is a type of a tablet, again owned by Apple corporations. Xbox and PlayStations, these are gaming computing systems, okay, none of which I know how to work. Information becomes a distraction, a diversion, a form of entertainment rather than a tool of empowerment, rather than the means of emancipation. The word emancipation here is to cause some form of uproar. So what Barack Obama is saying in that case is that with the introduction of all these things, there's a lot of destruction. to how information can be used. With iPods, with iPads, PlayStations, Xboxes, they're not bad things. They're good things. If you think about iPods, these are music players. Okay, it it music is therapy for some people. You have iPads; these are just like computing systems. You can do a lot of work in them. You have Xboxes and PlayStations. It can be used for relaxation or leisure activities, and also it can be used as therapies. But with the misuse of it, how do you misuse? You extra use them, and then you end up using information as how it is supposed to. So, the last paragraph, do you agree or disagree with President Obama's statement? Who is responsible for verifying the accuracy of online data? What should happen to companies that post inaccurate data? What should happen to individuals who post incorrect data? What should you remember when reading or citing sources for online data? So now, critique writing is about you giving in your views, not necessarily the view of yours should match with the friend, or not necessarily your colleague in the class. If he or she gives in a view, he or she's correct and you're incorrect. Critique writing, the answer can be almost anything. It depends how you go around verifying your answer. So what I would suggest is this. Let's go and think about it. Let's take about 2 or 3 minutes, okay, and think. First of all, do you agree with President Barack Obama's statement or not? And then think about who should be responsible for verifying accuracy of data online. So it's 2:17. Let's take about 3 minutes, 2:20. Think of something, and I'll go across the class, and then we can talk about it. Now, if you're not comfortable in terms of answering, somebody just logged out or gone off. If you're not so comfortable in terms of answering, okay, don't worry about it. Okay, if you have an answer, say it, and then after 3 minutes, we'll go and discuss it out. So take about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll talk about it. All right, take about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll discuss these. Okay, thank you for those of you who just dropped in. So this is where we are. We are on tutorial 6, and we are trying to answer this question. Okay, so I've given the class about 3 to 4 minutes to actually go over this, and then we'll discuss it out. Still a few minutes with us, okay? So please ensure to come with something. It will be good to hear out from you, your ideas, your views. Not necessarily I will be covering up all the aspects of answering this. You may have your views and it might be very interesting. So I'd like to hear from all of you. 1 more minute and then we'll continue. Okay, so let's begin answering it. So, is there anyone who'd like to volunteer and answer this question? Do you agree or disagree with President Obama's statement? And why do you agree or disagree? Anyone from the class would like to answer it? Anyone? Any volunteers? Okay, thank you, Ritika. Would you like to call out? Would you?
Yes, I'm agreeing with this because the verification should be done by the medias and then or the company who's declaring anything, because it's not a small thing if like character deformation can be done as well. So and companies can be a losing side. So the proper verification should be done before anything is be declared in the medias or anywhere like that.
Okay, thank you. That's a good answer. Thank you, Ritika. I also agree with you. Okay, so if I would say yes, I agree with President Obama. So first of all, I would say why I agree with him. I've already explained why I agree with him in most of the places, because not all information that is laid out on social media or media platforms, they are true. Okay. Moreover, uh, for the verification process, okay, I feel companies who actually go around putting up these news on media platforms, they should be very careful and they should verify the information a lot of times. Now, many times it's not the company, but it's the journalists within the companies or people who work within the companies or individuals who post the information. They do it in a improper manner. Okay, how, why or how? Because they do not care to take full responsibility on themselves to ensure the correct information is put out to the general public. Okay. Uh, Now, so anyone has any other answer? Anyone here disagrees with his statement? Now, you can disagree. I'll tell you why. Okay, why you can disagree? Because there is a law passed down by so many countries. Okay, the people who work in journalist-based organizations or journalism-based organizations or news media companies, they have a freedom to post, but it also comes with the responsibility to ensure that you post correct things. Now, so the second part of the question is, who is responsible for verifying the accuracy of online data? I feel the companies who actually post up this information, okay, they are the ones who need to ensure that the information is accurate. So, for example, if we have FijiVillage.com, FijiVillage.com is owned by which company? Any idea? Communications Fiji Limited. Communications Fiji Limited is the same company who owns FM 96, Radio Naftaran, and so forth. There are a lot of companies there, VTFM and so forth. So, for example, if FijiVillage.com puts in some information, it comes from their journalists. So when the journalists give out their information, there is somebody who edits it. That's the editor, the news editor. You must have gone over this. In the newspapers, you'll see normally chief editor or the name of the person is normally mentioned. So the chief editor has the responsibility to ensure that enough evidence is provided, okay, by the journalist, and then he or she can edit the requirements and post it up on social media or the media platforms. So what should happen to companies that post inaccurate data? Should they be fined? Should a lawsuit be carried out against them, or what? Now, what are your views in this? So can I have somebody else speaking now? Vani, would you like to give a try? What should happen to companies that post incorrect data? Okay. How about you, Karthik? Would you like to give it a try?
So they should be penalized.
They should be penalized. Okay, how would you penalize them? How would you go around penalizing them? Fines, probably? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Fines, okay? It can be, or probably what it could be done is just to ensure to give them a fair playground. Now, everyone deserves a chance, don't they? Okay, so to give them a good chance, okay, if something goes wrong and the information is incorrect, okay, they could be sort of given like a warning, 2 or 3 warnings, and from there penalties or fines could be laid forward to these organizations or individuals that post up incorrect information up on those kind of news media. How do you think? Is that fair or not fair? Shalini, what do you think? Is it fair if they should be given warnings first and then fined?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Right, so that could be done. Next question: what should happen to individuals who post incorrect data? Now, I think for individuals, it's very difficult to control. Why? Because you're not talking about just one individual or 2 or 3 individuals. You're talking about so many people. For example, in Fiji, we are close to about 800 plus thousand people. Okay, so how would you control each one of them, and how would you ensure that they do not post incorrect data? Now, we do have a law here in Fiji. Okay, it's Online Safety and Care Act, okay, whereby if someone places in incorrect information over the social media platforms or web, they could be fined. Now that's one way of controlling it. The other way is, how do you control that is the platforms in which they use. For example, people post things up on social media, let's say on Facebook. So if they put up something on Facebook, they're putting it up on a particular forum, so the forum owners can control that. Another thing is, if they're putting it up in their own profiles, if you disagree with them, you can always go and report it to Facebook. So where the post is, you'll notice there's an options button. Click on the options button, and then you can report for misinformation or incorrect information. And if Facebook, they will go and verify, and after verifying, if they feel something is offensive and something may seem incorrect, they'll pull down the post, and also the individual's profile may be suspended for a certain number of days or weeks. Okay. Third portion: what should you remember when reading or citing sources for online data? Now, what it simply means is, if you are, let's say, writing an article, or if you are putting up a news from from a particular website, and you want to cite it off, you need to ensure that these are like accurate citations or accurate sources. Sometimes what people do is, if I would give you a question as to, let's say, define or find out what is Fiji's economic beneficial rate or so forth. Okay, so what people will do is they will go inside, type down on Google Fiji's economic beneficial rate, and then whatever information they get from our website, they put it down as an answer. Now that is particularly very incorrect. Why? Because remember, websites, they do not post in the information themselves. People post it up on websites, and you need to ensure where these websites are getting the information from. So if you're looking at something like Fiji's economic rate or Fiji's uh, poverty rate issue, which is going on very much at the moment, okay, so you need to go and look for a reliable source. Probably Fiji Bureau of Statistics is a reliable source. That's where you can seek information. Likewise, in overseas countries, they also have a Bureau of Statistics who basically go around finding stats about a specific topic or a specific subject, and they put it up on their website. So you need to stick to reliable sources. All right. Is there any questions, any queries from anyone? By the way, these kind of information, these kind of questions can be there in your final examinations. Okay, so you need to think outside the box. One, two, critique means when we say critique writing, it's more likely you have to analyze things and not necessarily always disagree to it. You can agree to it as well, okay, but have to give in your reasons. Remember, I think when you were doing your critique writing one, the 5%, I gave a PowerPoint slide. It described critique writing. So one of the very first few sentences that were there was this: critique writing not necessarily always mean you disagree to points. You can agree, provided you are able to give in your valid reasons. Now, next case study, informing information. Okay, now since the beginning of time, humans have been using pictures and images to communicate, moving from cave drawings to hieroglyphics to the internet. Hieroglyphics is basically to the use of codes or the use of some foreign language. Okay, so what it's saying is people have been using pictures and images to communicate to one another. Now in caves, in olden days, when people could not understand each other's language, they used to draw diagrams on the caves. Now if you watch movies, probably Egyptian based movies, very much common in Egypt based movies, because they had a lot of caves. Okay, so you'll see all these things. Hieroglyphics, hieroglyphics has been used at a lot of places, people using some form of a foreign language. Now these language would be in form of codes. Now it very much relates to the computer science language, because yes, people you do use a lot of kind of codes for computer science. Therefore that codes become a common language for the machines to understand, and to the internet. So when you talk about internet, pictures, images, text, music are common part of the internet. In fact, most of us, we use internet just for the purpose of looking at images and videos, where Facebook, YouTube, and so forth. Today, it is easier than ever to paint a picture with 1,000 words. What it simply means is used as a pun here. Pun means it has double meanings. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean today it is easier to ever to paint a picture with 1,000 words. What it simply means is you have a picture that displays or portrays a lot of information thanks to the technological advances. The primary advantages are databases and data warehouses that capture enormous means large amount of data. Informing means accessing large amounts of data from different management information systems. According to the recent analysis of press releases by PR Newswire, an article or advertisement that uses visual images can significantly rather improve the number of views a message generates. So it says over there, if there is an article or if there is a set of writing, but it has some images, it has some pictures in it, okay, so it is able to give out the actual information to the user and attracts a lot of people. True. Okay, how many of you like reading newspapers which has just words in them? Most of us wouldn't. Okay, if you're going through an article on let's say on social media, on Facebook, let's say you don't have any pictures, you only have words, people would hardly read it. If there's one picture, oh, the picture looks attractive, okay, this is what the picture is about, this is what it may mean, and then you go around reading few sentences related to that image. Okay, so that's true. This can be a true competitive advantage in the digital age. Competitive advantage, you're trying to gain advantage over your competitors. An infographic or information graphic, okay, infographic short form for information graphic, displays data graphically so it can be more easily understood. Infographics cut straight to the point by presenting complex data in a simple visual format. So infographic is a combination of information plus graphics. That means you can combine text and images together, and the complex data or the complex message that you need to put it out to the public, you can actually go and display it up use or with the use of infographics. Let me explain to you. Okay, let's say let me think of an ad. Coca-Cola ad. Okay, there has been so many Coca-Cola ads ever since Coca-Cola has been here in PG. I think they still have ads on the televisions. So what is the significance from there? Okay, you'll see people enjoying with the drink. That gives a significance. People enjoy it. Okay, even when there are promotions. Okay, so if Coca-Cola wants to put a promotion where you can peel the label and then there's something written at the back of the label and then you can win prizes, they put it up in terms of advertisements, in terms of videos, in terms of pictures. Now posters, I think at the moment there is a promotion done by Coca-Cola. I just recently saw at a supermarket, and the poster was posted on their show glass. Now just imagine, there's no image in there, it's just plain text, okay, filled with poster, A4 poster, filled with about 200 to 300 texts. Would you go around reading? You say, who bothers? Just a piece of text. Okay, but at the same time, if there's a picture with it, they're running a promotion, so you have to just peel, and then at the back of the peeling, there's written something, and you may end up winning $500 per week or something like that. Okay, so that is what images, the value that images carry on advertisements. Now, infographics can present the results of large data analysis looking for patterns and relationships that monitor changes in variable over time. Because infographics can easily be overwhelming, users need to be careful not to display too much information, or the resulting infographics can result in information overload. Now, infographics is a use of graphs, images, and so forth. And one of the common ways in which infographics are used is for comparing values. Now, if I have to compare values with infographics for, let's say, years 2000 from 2005 to 2021, I might go around creating graphs. And with the graphs, okay, I can actually go and show that this is what the value was in year 2000, and there's an upward trend going up to 2021. However, do not load your graphics too much. Okay, if you put in a lot of things, it becomes very complex and difficult to understand. Effective infographics can achieve outstanding results for marketing, advertising, and public relations. Public relations, you communicating with the public. According to PR, Public Relations Newswire, infographics gain the greatest competitive advantage when they have the following: survey results that are too hard to understand in text form. Okay, I also even find this better. Okay, I would say I'm guilty to it in terms when there's survey results or something as such. Even when we go around surveying your grades and see what is the performance, we generally have it in form of graphs. If it's just in form of text, I wouldn't even bother reading it. Okay, statistical data that are not interesting for readers, comparison research where the impact can be far more dramatic than presented visually, messages for multilingual audience who speak more than language. And sometimes when you have a crowd which understands some language, will understand and there are some who may not. For example, if I have a crowd, okay, and let's say here in Fiji, I pick up some old age people, somewhere between, let's say, 60 to 90 years old, and then I start and I do a presentation and I speak to them in English. So half of them might not understand English properly. But if I have a presentation, I'm speaking in English, however, the presentation has some pictorial views, it has some infographics, it has some graphs, why not? They will understand it just like that. They look at the year 2000, 49%. They look at year 2012, They'll say, oh, this year they didn't do well. See, it's 49%, that side, over here is 12%. Okay. Any information that can use visual element can make it more interesting. See the 3 examples given on pages 3, 4, and 5. So there you go. Okay, so top destinations. Okay, so there is graph given and it's given it now. How do I say which one is the top one? Look at 1, London, 2, Paris, 3, Rome. Okay, and so forth. And these are their locations. This is quite interesting though. And then you'll say the hotel prices paid by home and away travelers. Okay, so which one has been paid the most in which country? So we're talking about Switzerland. See, the rate is going high. Okay, likewise you can have a look at the other one. So travel destinations again. So most expensive hotel rates given in listing. Okay, popular with foreign travelers. There you go. Most popular with domestic travelers. You have another diagram. Okay, now if I am supposed to put this out in a form of paragraphs, it could be difficult to understand. Okay, now sometimes it's not difficult to understand, it's just that people don't understand it properly. With graphs and infographics as such, it becomes very, very easy. Okay, so highest and lowest hotel prices in the States. So highest is in orange, so you'll see orange. Lowest is in red, so you're able to see in red. So those which are in a non-shaded with the outline of red circle, that means it's not lowest. So that means somewhere between lowest to mid lowest, something like that. And same thing with the orange. That means it's not highest, somewhere between highest to mid highest, somewhere around that. Okay, and also you have another set of graphs which speak certain things. Now let's go and answer the questions. So we have a total of 6 questions. Let's go and answer it within half an hour, and then we can knock off the class at 3:15. Question number 1. List the reasons a business would want to display data in a graphical or visual format. So why would a business would want to display data in a graphical format? Okay, I'll code the answers and then you can write it down. Okay. 1, the first reason is it allows the organization to understand how its current operations are performing. How its current operations are performing. Second point, it helps estimate and strategize. STRATEGIZE. It helps estimate and strategize about future operations. Full stop. Next point. It allows a business to understand comma, digest, comma, analyze. Digest, D-I-G-E-S-T, digest, comma, analyze. And filter information and filter information. Key to growth and success of the organization. Key to growth and success of the organization. Key to growth and success of the organization. And the last point, okay, it opens new perspective. It opens new perspective and opportunities. It opens new perspectives and opportunities for the organization. Okay, so those are the answers for question number 1. Question number 2. Describe how a business could use a business intelligence digital dashboard to gain an understanding of how the business is operating. Okay, first of all, let's go and define data visualization. Okay, so that you have the definition for data visualization, and also we'll go around discussing business intelligence dashboards. So data visualization, give a dash. Technologies that allow users to see or visualize data. See, S-E-E, see or visualize data. To transform information into a business perspective. To transform information into a business perspective. Okay, now to actually answer the question, okay, data visualization tools help uncover. Data visualization tools help uncover correlations and trends in data. Data visualization tools help uncover correlations, C-O-R-R-E-L-A-T-I-O-N-S, correlations and trends in data. Full stop. Next point. Business intelligence dashboard. Business intelligence dashboard. Dash D-A-S-H-B-O-A-R-D. Business intelligence dashboards track corporate metrics such as critical success factors. critical success factors, and key performance indicators, such as critical success factors and key performance indicators. Full stop. Question number 3. Explain how a marketing department could use data visualization to help with the release of a new product. Now, the answer for question number 3 is very much same as the answer for question number 2. Okay, now it does the same thing. It allows in uncovering correlations and trends. Okay, also it allows once the product is about to be marketed or it is marketed, what is the critical success factors and what is the key performance indicators. So it's very much the same. Okay, now let's move on to question number 4. Categorize the 5 common characteristics of high quality data and rank them in order of importance for hotels.com. Okay, so how we do it now, hotels.com is for that particular case study. Okay, so the key performance the common characteristics of high quality data. Now from the notes, it's timeliness, accuracy, consistency, completeness, and uniqueness. So those are the 5 key performance indicators. Now let's go and start explaining them and we'll put them in order. Number 1, timeliness. Number 1, timeliness. Give a dash. Hotels.com information must be timely. Hotels.com information must be timely. Full stop. If information is outdated, comma, if information is outdated, comma, customers will head to a competitor. Customers will head, H-E-A-D, that means they will go, will head to a competitor. Full stop. The next common characteristic is 2, accuracy. Give a dash. Hotels.com website information must be accurate. Dash. Hotels.com website information must be accurate. Full stop. Third common characteristic and ranked would be consistency. Consistency. Dash, results must be consistent. Results must be consistent. Full stop. Users will not trust the system. Users will not trust the system if it provides different prices. Users will not trust the system if it provides different prices for the same hotel at different times? For the same hotel at different times. Full stop. Now, by the way, if you do not know what hotel.com is, hotels.com rather, it is an online travel agency. So whereby you would go into a website, that particular website, hotels.com, and in any particular country, if you would like to book a hotel room, you can go through it. Okay, so if you write down hotels, let's write down Fiji, so it will provide a list of search result whereby all the hotels in Fiji with their prices and room categories would be provided in the system. So just in case, if the prices are fluctuating in a different every time, users will not trust the system. So the next characteristic is completeness. Give a dash. Completeness, N-E-S-S, completeness. Give a dash. Search results need to be complete. Search results need to be complete. And identify all hotels. Search results need to be complete and identify all hotels the customer is looking for. Identify all hotels the customer is looking for based on his or her query. Based on his or her query. Full stop. And the last characteristic of high quality data is uniqueness. Uniqueness, give a dash. Customers expect to receive unique answers. Customers expect to receive unique answers to their queries. Comma. Customers expect to receive unique answers to their queries, comma. Not the same hotels listed repeatedly. Not the same hotels listed repeatedly. Full stop. Now, question number 5. Develop a list of possible entities and attributes located in hotels.com database. Now, question number 5 will omit the question that requires a bit of practical knowledge on Microsoft Access and on database management systems, okay? And also we'll have to go and study the database for hotels.com, which we don't have access to at the moment. So question number 5 will omit it. Question number 6. Assess how hotels.com is using business intelligence to identify and change associated business processes. So how do they use BI? Now, put down 1. Analyze a report. 1. Analyze a report. Example, sales report. Analyze a report. Example, sales report. Two, managers drill down into the report. Managers drill down into the report. Drill down meaning they start scrutinizing or start looking deeply into the report. Managers drill down into the report to figure out increase or decrease in sales. Increase or decrease in sales. 3, the information is shared enterprise-wide. The information is shared enterprise-wide. The information is shared enterprise-wide if there is a decrease in sales. If there is a decrease in sales. Sorry, not decrease, can write down increase in sales. Pardon me for that. If there is an increase in sales. So if there's an increase in sales, the information is shared enterprise-wide and they implement it accordingly. Increase in sales. Pardon me for that. Next point, number 4. If there is a decrease in sales, this time decrease for sure. If there is a decrease in sales, comma, effective action is taken to resolve the issue. Effective action is taken to resolve the issue. Full stop. Move to the next line and write down, thus, this is how managers use BI. Thus, this is how managers use BI Thus, this is how managers use BI to answer tough business questions. Give a colon, move to the next line. How the business is performing. How the business is performing. In comparison to historical data. How business is performing in comparison to historical data, previous records, previous trends, previous patterns, let's compare with it. Next thing is, next point. Where is the business going? Where is the business going? Comma, where is the business going? comma, that is the strategic direction. Where is the business going, comma, that is, comma, strategic direction. Okay, so that was the answer for question number 6, and this also concludes our case study questions and tutorial for week 9. Any questions or any queries from anyone? I'm trying to keep our tutorial class short, otherwise it becomes very monotonous. So let's keep it as short as possible. Okay, unlike our lecture class, it goes till about 1 hour 45 minutes to 2 hours, and it might get boring to most of you. So I don't want the same to take place in our tutorial classes as well. So we'll keep it short, okay? And also please prepare yourself well for next week's classes as well. What I will do is, for all the lectures from here onwards, I will post it up on Moodle with all the tutorial questions, okay, from week 10 to week 15. So should you get time, go over the lecture classes, okay, and the tutorial questions, and from next week, we'll try to make our class a bit more interactive. We need more of you to be speaking in the class so that it becomes quite fascinating as well, and also interesting to hear answers from your end. All right. So thank you very much for dropping in and for taking out your time. I'll see you all on next week Wednesday. Till then, sorry. Take care, stay safe, and should there be any problems, any issues, any questions, any queries, feel free to drop me an email or drop a message in Moodle. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Goodbye.